Welcome to Law Talk Live and Meldon Law and Friends. We are having a great time here at the studios of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Behind me, you can see all of Steve Spurrier's helmets. And what a great place to bring our guests on and showcase what they've been doing. I have the privilege of being here with Lisa Bolton, who is the founder of the Dandelion Project. Good afternoon, Lisa. How you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, a lot of our listeners and viewers haven't heard about the Dandelion Project, so I'm going to kind of open the floor and let you talk a little bit about what it is and how you got there.
Okay. I founded the Dandelion Project actually long before I had thought I was going to find it. I lost my first son to a stillbirth or complications to my pregnancy back in 1989. In 1989, it was a different world. They didn't do most of what they do today. There's no pictures, there's no bonding, there's no holding. Your baby is gone, and that's that. So I'm happy to say that I had two healthy children after that. My daughter discovered probably 20 years after he died about him because her dad, I didn't understand a dad's grief back then. And I just thought he was being a jerk. I'll be honest. And he'd probably laugh about that. But she discovered it one day, and then she never let me forget it. So we were planning on doing this Dandelion Project in memory of her brother. We wanted to do like an infant cuddler program and just help moms and dads that had lost an infant. And in 2015, my stepdaughter, she was 18 years old, Quinn, died from a rare form of encephalitis called anti-NMDA receptor encephalitis. It presents as schizophrenia. It presents as drug use. Like they didn't know. They still, after all these years, don't know enough about it because one of my parents at the child care facility that I run passed away 2 years ago from the same thing. And they knew nothing more in all the years. And we donated Quinn's brain for science to learn about it, and they still don't know anything. And of course, my husband, we donated his daughter's brain, and they should be further along than what they are, but they're not. So right around that time, I thought I had the grief under control. I apparently didn't, because when Quinn passed away and her mom looked at me and very innocently, because she would not have known, said, well, you don't know what it's like. You've never buried a child. And all that grief from DJ just came barreling out. And I looked at her and very calmly said, well, actually, yeah, I do. I buried a son. So that was a whole new thing. And right around that time, I found out that my 26-year-old daughter, who was my very best friend in the whole world, was struggling with substance use disorder. So she was in and out of the rehabs. She was constantly, she'd go into recovery and she'd come out of recovery. She loved to doodle. And what I want to say is that substance use disorder doesn't pick and choose. Carrie was a gifted artist. She was a gifted writer. She was a 4.0 college graduate with a BA in forensic psychology. And she cared. She had a heart bigger than anybody that I've ever met. She'd give you the shirt off her back, and sometimes that was to her detriment. But she loved to doodle, and she sent me a picture. I was studying to be a stillbirth doula. And the woman that I was talking to said, oh, my God, Lisa, that's so sweet. It sounds like what you want to do is spread love the way a dandelion spreads its seeds. You should call it the Dandelion Project. Okay, well, I wasn't real crazy about it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not real crazy about that. It just didn't hit me. 3 o'clock in the morning, Carrie sends me a picture of a dandelion, the dandelion that you see on my logo.
Did she know about your conversation?
No, she did not. So I called her back at 3 o'clock. Of course, we had this argument. What are you doing texting me at 3 o'clock in the morning? Well, what are you doing answering it? That was back and forth. And I said, so that was just, she was a mini-me. I said, did I tell you that Miss Laura said we should name it the Dandelion Project? And she's like, no. And so it just went from there. So after many, many tweaks, my youngest stepdaughter helped me tweak it a little bit. The handprint that you see is actually me and my youngest son's handprint back when he was 2. It just kind of stuck with the heart and the I love you sign. So every one of them has something to do with the logo, which is nice. And it just has escalated to helping families that are grieving. I know what that scream sounds like. I've held hands to a parent that has lost their child. including my stepdaughter's mom, and my husband. And I've learned a lot about dad's grief. I've learned a lot about a grandparent's grief. My children they've predeceased my parents. And that was really hard for my parents. They went to Carrie's funeral. Carrie had been down here for a week before she died, visiting us, and she reconnected with her grandparents, and she came down with my youngest stepdaughter, and we just had a blast. And my parents were in their glory. And then a week later, 9 days later, I had to call them and say, she's gone. We have to go home. We have to go to New Jersey for the funeral. And watching my dad probably was just as hard as watching both John and Kevin, the fathers of the kids, learn about the kid's death, because he couldn't do it. He couldn't walk into the funeral home. And at one point, I think he had asked if I was going to get over it anytime soon. And I think my brother looked at him and said, Dad, it was her daughter. She's not getting over this. And then my brother explained to me, you understand that Dad has to watch his baby grieve her baby. You need to understand that. And I was like, oh, I guess I didn't think of it that way. So I've learned a lot. I mentioned that I run a child care facility in Leesburg. So we have a lot of families there that their kids are being raised by foster families.
What's the name of the child care facility?
Morrison Preschool. We're part of Morrison United Methodist Church.
Oh, great. How long have you been doing?
Well, I've been in childcare for 41 years. I get a lot of inspectors that look at me and go, nobody lasts that long. And I'm like, I love what I do.
What age are the kids?
Birth are 6 weeks to 5 years old. But a lot of them are being raised through the foster care system. A lot of them are being raised by grandparents. And let's face it, I mean, I'm at an age now where I was raised one way. I raised my kids another way. If I was raising a grandchild, I don't know how well I would do, if that makes sense, even though kids are my life. Because it's a different ball game today. It's not like when we were growing up or when we were raising our kids. It's totally different. So we decided we're going to put a grandparent support group together. We're going to put a foster family group together, because foster parents grieve too. You go into it knowing that you're going to probably be giving this child back, hopefully for the right reasons, but it doesn't prepare you for 6 months or a year into their life, and now all of a sudden you got to give them back. And we're doing a veterans program because we were lucky enough to go up to New Jersey last year. In one of the towns that my daughter grew up around, they did a memorial, and I went up. It was time to bring Carrie home. It had been 5 years, and we went home and we celebrated with everybody, and I saw a lot of her friends, and dandelions grow immensely up in New Jersey. So we did everybody picked a dandelion and we blew the seeds because they're far and few between down here.
I know. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
So
we had lots of dandelions, yeah. And you.
Yeah, we left the field and somebody was like, look at all the dandelions. I'm like, well, that's our next stop. But we met a woman that does a Veterans Memorial in New Jersey that puts the one in D.C. to shame, called All Veterans Memorial. It was just beautiful. And they have a section for kids. It's called the War on Children. And because we have a war on the kids with the drugs and trafficking and all that, we were able to put stones for all of our kids in there too. And so then we decided we would move into veterans too. I have another nonprofit called Mute. My partner, Michelle Pepin, which I know you've interviewed, from Picking Up the Pieces, lost her husband 2 years ago. He was a vet. So we're doing that in Rick's memory too.
Well, it sounds like you're very ambitious. I think that, it's driven from the heart.
Yes.
And that it's what are some things that people out there can look for when it comes to somebody suffering from drug abuse? I'm sure you've revisited in your mind a lot. The loss of a child from drug abuse, unfortunately, is not that uncommon in these days. Is there any advice you have to parents out there on how to deal with children who they suspect are suffering from severe drug abuse?
Stand by them. Stand by them. I'm not talking about enabling them. I'm not talking about tough love. I'm talking about stand by them. About a year after Carrie died, I was appalled because there was a article that I read, and it was a parent writing to the child that had just overdosed, and saying she was done, and she was kind of glad that he was gone because then she didn't have to worry anymore. And that horrified me. I was like, are you kidding? Like, Carrie didn't wake up one day and be like, Carrie had a series of things that happened to her, and those would have been her stories to share, so I don't share them. But she didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to start using today, and in 6 years, I'm going to destroy my parents and my brother, because my son actually found her, and just make their lives a living hell because we're here and she's not. And that's what people don't understand. You know, you can't save them if they don't want to be saved. I will say that. But you can support them, and you can let them know they're there, because that might be the key to saving them.
Well, there's many people out there that I think are struggling for what to do. And when you say stand by them, that means let them know you love them. Mm-hmm. Let them know that you're there to help them. And also, I think, at least express to them in some way that there's hope in some way.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we've also have stories of recovery that we can share. Mm-hmm. I've had mothers question, like, how do you work with recovery when yours is gone? I never want to hear another parent scream. So if I can help aid somebody with recovery, I'm going to do it. Because essentially that's also Carrie helping that person. Because if we can save one life through the loss of hers, then she didn't die in vain. And I will not let her die in vain.
Well, I know that. I know that you're committed. Now, folks out there that are listening, how can they get involved with the Dandelion Project?
Well, I'm happy to say that we finally have a website.
Good for you. That's a good start.
I was living with Facebook and Instagram, and somebody else I was talking to said, Lisa, you really got to get a website. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we finally got a website together. So
what is the URL on it?
Dandelionproject.net.
Dandelionproject.net. So that's how they can communicate with you the most easily.
Yes, but we're also on Facebook and we're also on Instagram. All the contact information is there, the phone number, the email, and then the website.
And if they go on Facebook or Instagram, would they just put in the Dandelion Project?
Well, I think on Instagram you would put my name. No, it's Dandelion Project 24, I think, is the Instagram one. Okay. And then the Facebook, yes, the Dandelion Project, it'll come right up.
Great. So for those of you that are listening, watching, and you know someone in the community, you serve all of Marion County?
I serve Marion County, and we've recently moved into Lake. We partnered with the preschool and the church in Morrison United Methodist to put a tree of remembrance up this past Christmas, where the community doesn't have to be a resident of Leesburg. The entire community can come and put an ornament on the tree for every holiday. Plus, we started a rock garden on the bottom. So that's a nice memorial. It's just another way to remember.
Well, I think it's so important being able to have a resource for people who are struggling. Whether it's somebody who's in distress and you want to help, or if it's somebody who's gone and you want to be able to move on with your life. I know, it's I know when parents lose a child, it's very hard for the marriage to stay intact. I'm sure you have a lot of knowledge about that.
Yes, unfortunately, I do.
And I think it's just, in some way the joy is gone, mm-hmm. and and it's almost like I need to find joy somewhere else. I don't know why.
And you will. And I've had parents say that they feel like they're being selfish. You're not being selfish, not at all. They would want you to carry on, and they would want you to find meaning and purpose. When I do what I do, and all of our services are offered free to the community, and it's Lake, Marion, Sumter. We're hoping to move into other counties, but we rely on sponsors and donors so that we can provide all of our services for free. We just started the Hugs from Heaven program, which is free bereavement boxes. So people can sponsor a box in memory of a loved one. And we just delivered 3 to Advent Health in Ocala, the bereavement department. So that was really nice to give out. And we're hoping to move into some other hospitals and the funeral homes. But like I said, everything we do is free. So they can contact us. It's about helping them through the grief. I'm a grieving parent. My husband and my ex-husband are grieving parents. I don't want to look at somebody and be like, oh, that'll be $100 an hour for your grief service.
It just isn't appropriate.
It's not right. So it's just a way to help everybody through it. And it heals. When people ask me why, because it helps me heal. Yeah. It's a way that I keep DJ and Kerry and Quinn alive. And like I said before, if one of their stories can help a parent or save another life, then we've managed to meet our goal.
Well, I want to do a call to action because I know there's a lot of listeners and viewers out there that would like to help. How do they help?
Well, the first thing, I'm doing my first forever motorcycle run. The Punishers LEMC, the Brick City chapter, they are going to be riding from Ocala to Leesburg for us. That was their idea to go that whole length. I didn't expect that, so I love them for doing this. But we will be meeting at the Charlie Horse on April 5th at 11 o'clock is when registration starts.
In Ocala.
In Ocala, yes. I'm sorry, the Charlie Horse in Ocala. Kickstands will go up at noon, and they will ride into Leesburg, where the Leesburg chapter is letting us have their clubhouse for an event. So we'll have vendors and we'll have food trucks, and there's lots of activities for the kids. There'll be a teddy bear giveaway, face painting, cotton candy, like I said, food trucks, an ice cream truck, and just some arts and crafts and raffles and a 50-50.
Yeah, I'm seeing at 11 a.m. registration starts. Mm-hmm. Kickstands up at noon at the Charlie Horse, 2426 East Silver Springs Boulevard in Ocala. That's a great way to support. What if folks aren't riders, but they want to donate money and support? How do they go about doing that?
Well, the ride is open to everybody, so they don't have to be a Punisher. It's open to everybody. And if they're not going to ride, they can come to the event in Leesburg while we wait for them to come back. Noah Hunton is performing for us. He is a graduate from Forest High School, and he has done an event for us before, so he's coming down to Leesburg to be our entertainment around 3. But otherwise, on the website, there is information on how you can donate. We do...
No, I was going to say the website again.
Dandelionproject.net.
Dandelionproject.net. Go to the website and you can find a link so you can donate money, yes. Right? Because really, all of this is powered by love. However, we need the money too.
Yes. Yes. My goal is to continue to be able to provide the services for free. I don't ever want to charge a family. I don't want to ever charge them for a box or for counseling or anything. I just want to help.
Well, I think that's, so important, Lisa, that, there's someone out there that's an example of, a mother who's been able to embrace the adverse circumstances of losing children, and then turn around and try to help others get through circumstances that many of us would find just too difficult to deal with. So I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. So
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, now we're going to go through again how you can help. Okay, you can go on Facebook and look up the Dandelion Project, and you'll see the contact information there. You can go on Instagram, and it's
I believe it's Dandelion Project 24.
Dandelion Project 24. Or we have a new website.
Yes, we
do.
Okay,
and it's the dandelionproject.net.
So it's just dandelionproject.net.
Dandelionproject.net. Okay, and then donate some money. I know Meldon Law is going to help support the organization because I'm very touched and moved by the dedication you have to helping others. And I think that's what we need more of in the world.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad to have you on as our guest. And we'll keep helping. and spread the good word.
Thank you so much.
So that's a wrap on our edition of Meldon Law and Friends, and please join us next week. Although I'm going to be back in just a few minutes with what's going on in the community. So stay tuned. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey! Somebody hit us.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I want to catch you up on what's going on in the community. Ocala presents Marion County Day 2025 on March 29th at the McPherson Government Campus in Ocala. Starts at 10 in the morning, goes till 3 o'clock. It's a free community festival. And Marion County invites everyone, residents, non-residents, to the annual community festival celebrating Marion County's history and showing everything that makes Marion County great. Wow, Marion County has really grown, and it's amazing. Support Marion County Day 2025, March 29th from 10 to 3 at the McPherson Government Campus. The Villages Golf Festival, April 3rd and 4th at the Championship Golf Shops. The Villages Golf Festival, it's a 2-day community-wide event, and check it out. It's going to be, again, April 3rd and April 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Championship Golf courses, the Champion Golf Shops, rather. And I know everybody down in the Villages where there's 182 golf courses, so go down there. Actually, I think there's more holes of golf per capita than anywhere in the world right here in the Villages. Williston, now this is one that makes my arteries, get excited. The 5th annual Macon Bacon Festival, April 5th from 11 to 4 p.m. at the Heritage Park in Williston. Listen to this. For all you bacon lovers, the 5th annual Macon Bacon Fest is a free, sizzling celebration of all things bacon. Mouth-watering bacon-infused dishes from food vendors, crispy strips, to crispy, creative bacon masterpieces. And highlights include the bacon eating contest, the best bacon dish competition, live entertainment, and listen to this. This is awesome. The Miss Macon Bacon pageant. So our good friends at the Heritage Park, we love them. They do a great job. April 5th from 11 to 4. It's actually the most well-attended event they do out there in Williston. So go out there. Everybody likes a little crispy bacon. Up in Fort White, our good friend Santa Sarah and her friends are putting on Rum 138. It's called the Merfolk Fest. Now, why would they call it Merfolk? It's because they have mermaids up there. I don't know how they did it, but apparently they have been able to find mermaids up there in the Swanee River area, and they're bringing them for this party March 29th, Saturday and Sunday, March 30th, up at Fort White. It starts in the morning about 11:30, so show up. And again, it's at Rum 138 in Fort White, and you will see actual mermaid water performances. You can shop in the Mermaid Village, and you can take great photos with the mermaid. So check it out. April 12th, the Orange and Blue game at the stadium in Gainesville. The Orange and Blue game's always fun, and actually, it's the most fun getting there early, because there's going to be a ton of Fan Fest events going on there. I know that it's the event where the most players, the alumni football players, come back. They want to join everybody, have a good time. You'll meet all kinds of celebrities there, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful event. So again, April 12th, Saturday, get out there early because there's a lot going on before the game, and then the game you'll get to see what's going on as far as Gator football. So that's what's happening right now. Meldon Law, of course, has our Facebook giveaways going. Just go to Meldon Law on Facebook, and you will see all kinds of amazing giveaways. We because we're the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, we have all kind of tickets, and we like to share them with everybody. So that's what's going on in the community. Support our community events, and we'll see you next week on Meldon Law and Friends.